So already Rizvi sir is here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fireside chat, and the conversation is going to be all about, I think somehow it ties down to the panelists that already were there on stage, and that is creating that ecosystem for learning and implementation, especially for our future leaders. That means right from being in college and so forth. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the director of BW People and BW CFO world, or business world as they're known globally. So that is Mr. Rizvi there and Mr. Sinha. Both of them have been on stage with us quite a few times during the day. So thank you once again for gracing us. And I'll leave the dais to you both.
Thank you, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So we welcome Mr. Sinha. We have been interacting with him and heard through the day about the challenges and the new innovative methods that they have adopted in skill development, and he needs no introduction. And with this, without much ado, I would straight away come to some of the questions that most of the people have in mind. Just to share a background, that I started my career in Hyderabad, and back in time, Telangana, then Andhra Pradesh, gave a skill set that was IT, and India flourished, and the place that we are sitting right now, when I was in Hyderabad, this used to be, a place where hilly areas and rocks were there. So that skill came to India, and we saw a lot of progress. So with this, I would request Mr. Sinha to just run us through what is the structure and the organization structures, and how tasks can help out the task of future's workforce, and how we can skill them.
Sure. Thank you very much. Indeed, a pleasure for me to be amongst all of you here today again. So if you look at task itself, I think I've already spoken about how it got created, etc. So I'll not spend too much time, but I'll just like to mention over here that we are working with about 718 colleges. We have skilled close to 8,71,000 students as of now. We have skilled more than 17,000 faculty members on pedagogy as well as technology. We work with 80 plus corporate partners offering 110 plus programs. And very early on, we realized that, if you want to do employability-based skilling, doing it in the final year doesn't help anyone. It's more like eating a 500 mg capsule before you go for your medical test, right? So what we decided was do it in a laddered learning approach, which means you start with the basic concepts right from first year. For example, just a rudimentary example over here. If you're looking at AutoCAD, you start with the beginner's level in the first year, second semester. You move on to the user level in the second year, first and second semester. And advanced level is in the third year, in the first and second semester. Fourth year, you concentrate on your placements and your other things. So that's how the model was set up. We sit over and above the academic curriculum. We work very closely with all the industry and trade bodies. And we look at the gap and how do you fill in that gap using the skills that are provided by the partners and ourselves. So that's typically our model, the first model, which basically when the students get skilled by these partners or by my own team of 25 for us, faculty members, etc. There are 500 plus organizations who are advertising their entry-level jobs on our portal, right? And we take care of all the logistics. So once we send you the JD, you send us your profile, we would put it on our portal, but it's a push and a pull mechanism, which means push is where we send out mails to our 3 lakh plus students who are benefiting from our program as we speak. We send out mails to them saying that you are eligible for this program because you meet these criteria. So that's the first model. Second model is we work with people in the different districts, etc., and everywhere else, where we skill them, especially people who are either underserved or underemployed or unemployed, right? So we run finishing schools, which are short-term programs, anywhere from 15 days to 45 days to 3 months on a particular industry vertical. And that's where we skill them and ensure that at least 70% people get placed in the industry itself. So that's the second model. Third model, which makes Telangana an investment destination, also to get the right kind of manpower, and it's a win-win for all if you look at it, which is the first day, first up productivity program. By that, what I mean is, in case any government can give you incentives, any government can give you land, but Telangana is a unique state where you are given the right and ready resources as and when and where you want them. So we work with the organization, create curriculum, work together, implement the curriculum itself in such a manner that first day, first hour, these people are productive. Just to give you an example, when Safran, the aircraft engine manufacturer, moved to Telangana, they were looking at nautical engineering colleges and engineers. So there were 3 colleges only, and they were not meeting the expectations. So we took them to our polytechnics, the diplomas holders, and there we had to do a complete mindset change of these people and their parents, because they would have ended up, because they were from mechanical and electrical background, they would have ended up as mechanics and electricians. So we changed the mindset to move and join the aerospace industry. We didn't look at the skills only, but we broke down the skills into competencies. For example, hand dexterity, 3D visualization and spatial thinking. All these were competencies. So we created tests. For example, we gave them nuts and bolts to fasten, unfasten. And that's how we checked hand dexterity. We gave them a sheet of paper and told them to fold it 16 times, right? There was a sheet which had, a metallic sheet was there where there were alignments of 4 and 5 pins in different alignments. And there were corresponding discs which had holes. And they had to pick it up and put it at the right place. So all these kinds of things were used to identify the people. We come from a very simple standpoint. If you can't stand the sight of blood, should you become a doctor or join the defense forces? It's as simple as that. So identify the people, what their competencies are, because then iteration rates are low, quality of workmanship is higher, skills are there, and the best part was that after this whole process, and I don't have aircraft engines in my labs, etc. So we worked with Safran. They flew down trainers from France and Morocco. They trained our districts, boys and girls. And the best part is, out of the first 1,000 cable harnesses that were being manufactured over here, there was not even a single defect. As a result of which, when I'm talking about win-win, Telangana got the MRO, the Safran MRO was set up here last year, which is a 1,200 crore facility coming up. And imagine the number of jobs, etc., that will also be coming up along with that. So that, in a brief, is a helicopter view of what TASK does. Apart from this, we are also into innovation, but I think I'll keep on continuing there.
So the topic that we have is developing the demand skill for the future workforce. So is there any predictive mechanism that we have that we can map the skills, what will be required in the future, that TASK looks at and prepares the people? Because as you rightly said in the morning, that whatever in the discussion, that whatever we get into colleges and the 60% of the work jobs that we are talking about these days will not be there. Correct. So is there any predictive mechanism? And one thing that you said was about the screwdrivers.
Correct.
So those two things, if you can club and give us some insight.
Look, so I think the most important thing is common sense, right? I think common sense is the most important thing that is needed to be taught to our students. And I'll take a very simple example. I go to some of the colleges and ask a very, very simple question, which is, if I have to empty the Indian Ocean, how much time will it take? And typically people will say, no, it can't be done, this cannot happen, that cannot happen, everything. But no one comes back with an answer that it will depend on the size of the bucket, right? And that's what computational thinking or logical thinking is all about. Somewhere we are too busy learning syntaxes, thinking about what is ChatGPT 3.5 versus 4.0. I think that is all frivolous. What we need to concentrate is on fundamentals, understanding the logic behind it. I used to be, programming, as I said in the morning, on Lisp and Prolog. But does it mean that I can't do it in Python today? In fact, we went a step further. At TASK, we did the same thing using Java, right, instead of Python. we did AI and ML predictive models, both through linear regression, Forester's method, and what have you, and did it in Java along with Oracle. But that's where it is. I think what is important that I spoke about in the morning, learnability. I think that's the first thing which every HR also looks at, every student should also imbibe. Second is, of course, agility, adaptability, right? I think that's there. And third thing is, you need to understand how to work in a team. You need to value others' times. I think COVID has taught us that, right? Earlier, what used to happen is, maybe in 2018, etc., whenever there used to be a virtual call, first half an hour used to go and saying, hello, are you able to hear me? Are we able to connect? But during COVID, all this just vanished, right? Because we started valuing the other's times. And that is what is most important. So today, I think, first of all, communication skills, etc., everything is important. But I use a different word for it. When I say I, it's task and everyone else, which is more in terms of essential skills. Tomorrow your industries will change and everything will change. But communication, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, design thinking, all these will be essential skills for moving into the future. Right? So that's where I would capsulate it.
I would say you mean to say that the basics should be right.
Absolutely. Back to basics.
Back to basics is the mantra. Other thing that I had a lot of students who came up to me and they were pretty worried about the ChatGPT's intervention and what is the future going to be like. It was like, when you hear from them, it's like a sci-fi movie that is going, AI is going to take over and Terminator will be there and stuff. So I always say that ride the technology. You can't compete with a horse in racing. You can ride the horse and jointly work. So what is your, I think the students are already there. If you can share some ideas on that they shouldn't be threatened by the technology and maybe ride it.
If you are threatened by the horse, make an EV, right? Make an automobile, make something which is much faster than that. And that's what's important. Today, if you look at ChatGPT, right? I'll take a simple example. A couple of years ago, maybe a decade ago, I had gone to one of my friend's house and his 11-year-old son had to write an essay on Tenali Rama. And you know what this bright kid did? Alexa, tell me about Tenali Rama. By the time Alexa started narrating, his entire project was done. Correct? Now, this is exactly what is going to happen. Another example, a couple of years ago, does anyone know the name of Harshvardhan Nawate? Anyone over here? Harshvardhan Nawate? Yes, if you could just speak from there itself. Who's he? First winner of Kaun Banega Crorepati. And a very good friend of mine, dear friend of mine. Earlier he was with Mahindra itself, Mahindra Foundation. But a question was asked to Narayan Murthy. How much would you pay for employing Harshvardhan Nawate? And you know what his answer was? 600 rupees. So the interviewer was quite intrigued. He said, per minute, per hour, per day, what? He said, no, for his lifetime. He said, because in Malayalam Manorama, which is 600 rupees, you get all the knowledge that he has. I want people who can apply that knowledge. Young friends, please understand, if you are able to apply what you have learned, I think then you can conquer the world. Today it's ChatGPT, tomorrow it may be PPT. Doesn't know, we don't know. Today Python, tomorrow Cobra. Doesn't matter. But if your fundamentals, remember there's only one Hawa Mahal in the world, a building without foundation. Ensure that you have your strong foundation, right? Learnability, learn, unlearn, relearn. And believe me, if you don't do that, right? Forget if your parents told you or anyone has told you, finish your 12th, life will be easy. Finish your graduation, life will be easy. No, life is never easy. It is 17 plus 4 plus 40, right? It's a lifelong learning that happens. So you have to be a continuous learner. If you are not, then like me, you would not be sitting on the stage. Has anyone seen any dinosaur over here? Anyone? Dinosaurs could not adapt and therefore they have perished. Till the time you keep on learning, unlearning, relearning, you will continue to grow. Human mind is much superior than anything. Let me take a very simple example of people who are worried about ChatGPT. ChatGPT still cannot handle a lot of things, right? For example, if you create a use case of ChatGPT or any generative AI with visual effects and say, I want you to describe or create the image of a king without a crown, right? Lo behold, he will create an image of a king with a crown because it cannot still understand negatives, right? And that is where it is. So today also there are so many things. If you look at ChatGPT responses, they come up with a lot of things from the net itself, right? After all, 475,000 data sets have been used for ChatGPT 4 and so on and so forth. Of course, programming it itself would take a lot of time and spending so many dollars. But the point is that still it cannot do multiple things. It still keeps on giving you advertisements, right? In the text, if you see and do something like a Turnitin or a plagiarism tool that is there and put it out there, whatever you got from ChatGPT, you'll see a lot of it has been picked up from different kind of sources, including advertisements, right? So is it biased, non-biased? There are a whole lot of things coming up. Then we've also discussed multiple other cases. See where it can be used effectively, use it there, right? Don't try to put ChatGPT everywhere. And that's what it is.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to add two more things and we can wind up after that.
Sure.
One of my friends used to tell me that if dinosaurs were there, you would be getting packaged milk of dinosaurs because humans are so agile, they would have tamed them by now. And the second thing is that use ChatGPT the way you want to. It has eased off my life to a greater extent, but people realize that it wasn't me that was answering their mails. So now I have developed a mechanism that I ask ChatGPT to make few grammatical mistakes and spelling mistakes when it is giving a response to us. So with that, I think we would be ending our conversation for the day, and you'd be open for any suggestions. You can reach out to the My Anatomy team, and happy to help in any ways. And so we would like to welcome you on any of our forums in BW.
Sure.
Sometime I'll get in touch with you.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.